Welcome to Brunch with Brian. Yes, here we are. So glad to be with you today on our great Brunch with Brian video. Happy to be here today. And today I wanted to talk about it's Sour Candy Day. Okay, it's sour. This is going to sound crazy, but it's Sour Candy Day. And here's my favorite sour candy. I don't know if you can see this, but it's called Regal Sour Fruit. This is called Sour Cherry. You can get this on the internet. You can get this on Regal Sour Fruits. Regal Crown is what the name of these are. Regal Crown. We used to have these as kids, and then it's amazing what you can get on the internet now. It's amazing what you can find that you used to love as a kid, like Johnny Quest cartoons or something in the past. So I want you guys to access your past and access the things that you loved in your past and access the things what makes life great. Okay, it's the fond memories, it's the great feelings, and one thing that can generate great feelings is fun things about your past. And it's amazing now with the internet what is possible to do. So they're changing it constantly. I am far from an expert on the internet. Obviously, Facebook changes a lot, Instagram, they're constantly changing this stuff. So, but it's cool that you can go on the internet and find stuff that you that you remember from your youth. Okay, here's a little one I'm going to throw at you. There was a really scary song that I heard when I was, I don't know, young. Like I think I was about 8th grade or something like that. And it was a super scary song it was called DOA. And I remembered this the other day and I looked it up and there it was on the internet. And there's a big story about it, how this song was so scary that a lot of radio stations actually banned this song. It doesn't have any sex in it. It's just graphic. It's about a plane crash. And so it's called DOA. And if you look that up, that's the scariest song I ever heard. And I remembered it from my youth and I couldn't believe I could find it. So you can look back and find really cool things and fun things on the internet, on YouTube for sure, like old cartoons that you used to love. And one of those was Johnny Quest. We loved Johnny Quest cartoons. There's not enough Johnny Quest cartoons on YouTube. They should have all of them, and there's only a few of them. But you go back and enjoy those times. Now, obviously, everything always comes back to time management, doesn't it? I don't want you. There's only 2 reasons to go into the past. Most of the time, what do you want to focus on? The future. You want to focus on the future and the present. Okay, the only time you can take action is in the present. So obviously your focus should remain generally on the present when you can do stuff and take action that makes a difference for your future. Now, the other thing I want you to focus on is your future. Sometimes there's a couple of reasons to do that. Number one, plan for your future. Create plans that are going to lead to your success. And then the other thing I want you to do is visualize your future. Visualize your positive future. Get excited about it. This is my great future. And so where should your mind be during the day? Mostly on the present and the future. But every once in a while, if you have a little bit of time, it's kind of fun to harken back to the past. You want to be happy in life, and there's some fun things. Maybe there are some old cartoons that you liked. It's fun to kind of look back on that stuff when you have the time. Now, mostly, again, where is your focus? It's in the present. So you can take action, because that's the only time we can take action. Can you take action in the future or in the past? No, you can only take action in this present moment. Okay, we're having a visitor come over to go swimming in the pool. That's our big Bernedoodle is here, and my daughter Trinity. Hey, Trin. So focus on the present, focus on the future for 2 reasons again: to get excited about your future, visualize your goals with excitement. What you bring to your visualization is really important. You can't just sit there and passively think, oh, this is my great future. Here's me driving my dream car. Here's me, going out and buying a house. How exciting this is. And here's me getting a big check at the title company. That's all exciting, but you have to think of it with positive expectations. So whenever you're thinking about your future, you're thinking about Obviously, realizing your goals, achieving your goals, and getting excited and positive visualization. Now, the cool thing about positive visualization, and you don't think about it, is it will give you ideas for your plans. In fact, that's one of the best ways that I want you to plan for the future is to do a little visualization session. And as you think of whatever your ideal future is, whatever your plan is, whatever your goals are, as you see yourself achieving those goals, you'll realize, oh, I have to go and do this. I have to get a little more training on this. I have to get this tool if this success is going to happen. So actually, visualization is not just a tool to get you excited. It's a tool to give you tips and planning tips on your future of how to succeed. Morning, everybody. Noel and Kathy, of course. Morning, all. You guys are always here. Morning, Tony. Jim Rohn used to say that life is a collection of experiences. YouTube is awesome for digging up old clips. Yes. Guys, if you have any people from the past that you liked, media stars or anything. Okay, now I'll tell you something in the past to go look up today. I'll give you a little assignment. Go on our YouTube. It's called The Wolf Couple. Go on youtube.com// The Wolf Couple. Okay. Actually, it's just Wolf Couple. It's just Wolf Couple. I think you can get there either way, but I think it's just Wolf Couple. So go to youtube.com/Wolf Couple and type in Ted Nugent. Or you could just go on YouTube and do a search for Ted Nugent, Brian Wolf. Put both of our names in there. And you're going to see a really cool clip of when I was 18 years old and when I interviewed Ted Nugent. And this was, I was working at a TV station. I was going to go into media. I was going to be a movie director and a movie screenwriter. And so that was something I got into TV, and I was doing real creative stuff. And my producer said it was the best rock star interview he'd ever seen. So check it out. It's actually quite motivating. And it talks about going gonzo. That was Ted Nugent's big saying. Now, I don't totally agree with all of his politics and that, but do I agree with what his message in this interview? Absolutely. So check it out. And sometimes it is good to go to the past to check things out and learn things. So, and get motivated. That interview is absolutely motivated. Tell me what you think tomorrow, guys, when you go and check that out. Guys, I am going to do a session probably on AI, because AI is impacting the real estate business quite a bit. Do you have an AI program right now? Are you working with anything? We are. So we have a software program that uses AI to search and grade leads. It actually scores leads based on a 1,000-point scale. So if you want AI on your team, if you want to start using AI in real estate and you want this software, I can help you get the best deal on it. So let me know. I talk about this once in a while, but nobody ever really comes and says, hey, I need software. So if you do need software, don't just go buy it off the street. Don't just go buy it, off the internet. Come to somebody who can help you with this and get you the best deal. Okay. Milan Junka, Teaching Tuesday goals. Attend the Taking Action workshop. Watch the part where you show that testimonials binder. Go there and play pickleball. Hey. I love that. Anybody who wants to come here and play pickleball, we are pickleball maniacs. We love pickleball. That is some great goals. That's your goals from Teaching Tuesday. Now remember, Teaching Tuesday was really good this week, but we had a technical problem, and this is the first time this has ever happened. It didn't record, and I really want you to have this. So I actually recorded it on a separate media, so I might try to post it if I can figure out how to do that, and let you guys know, because I know some of you tune in at the late show. Remember, Teaching Tuesdays is 2 times. It's 7 p.m. and 4 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific, or 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and then repeated at 10 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. I'm getting these all wrong. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. So yes, and last week was really good because we talked about goals. It was live and it was amazing. And there's a lot of really incredible stuff about goals. There's a lot of different kinds. We did goal setting. So I would like you to hear that one if you missed it. Okay. Isabel, we should have a Wolfpack reunion around the pickleball court. That'd be fun. Get everybody together at the pickleball. The pickleball is the funnest sport, guys. Purchased a FISBO almost 3 years ago. I live in. No money down, no interest. Wow. Balloon payment coming up. What do I tell the seller to extend time? What kind of paperwork is needed on that? Okay. If you signed let's see. Okay, so you own the property. If I'm understanding this correctly, you own the property, but you have a balloon payment. Now, we usually, anytime, this is a great question, anytime that you have seller financing, but you have a balloon payment on it, which means you're going to have to come up with a lump sum to pay off the whole mortgage at once. I want you to 18 months before, okay? So write that down. 18 months before seller financing expires, contact your buyer. Now, in most cases, now this is a little bit different situation with Noel and Kathy because they actually live in the property. So they don't have to contact themselves and say, are you ready to get qualified? Okay, so if you want more time, and a lot of times in these deals, if you only get 3 years or 5 years from a seller, you might, your tenant buyers may not be ready. They may not be qualified yet to purchase the property. Part of this comes down to what your seller's reason was in the initially why they wanted the balloon. Was there a specific time in their life they needed this cash by blank and they needed for this and that and this really specific purposes? That's a little bit harder to get an extension. But most times it's not like they need the money. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to get this paid off. Most times it's just an ongoing situation that can be sustained. It's a sustainable situation if the seller just says, okay. All right, so usually we wait till 18 months before the seller financing expires. So let's say we get a 3-year term. We're actually going to be calling them at 18 months in, okay, because that means I got 18 months left. I'm halfway through the 3 years. So that's usually when we'll contact them, but it's okay if you don't do it that far in advance. What we normally do is call our buyers, our tenant buyers, and say, hey, how's it going? And let's say we got 5 years. That's a lot more common. So if we got 5 years, we're going to let them be in there for 3.5 years. And then we're going to call them and we're going to say, hey, guys, how's it going? Does it look good? I mean, how are you getting qualified? I mean, what's your job situation? What's your credit score situation? Have you taken care of the credit? Has it gotten better and all that? And so if they say, you know what, we still want to buy, but we need more time. Okay, that's when you say, okay, all right, I understand. How much more time do you think you're going to need? And you get a number from them. Okay, you think you're going to need blank more time. You just want to get the most more time you can get. So regardless of what they say in terms of how much more time they want, you're still going to go to the seller and ask for all the more time you can get. So if they say, well, we need 6 more months or we need another year, you say, okay, I'm going to work on this and see what I can do, but I'm not making any promises because as I told you right when I put you in the property, there's a 5-year balloon on my financing and we have to get you qualified within that time frame. Now, if they still want to get qualified, 18 months is a long time to fix problems. So if it's a credit issue, if they say, yes, I still want it, but we haven't done anything, we still have bad credit, then you put them in credit repair. You got 18 months to fix their credit, and that's usually plenty of time. Okay, so now if it's a debt ratio issue, like they don't make enough money to qualify, that's another issue, and that can be challenging. Sometimes you might have to do something kind of creative to get them qualified. But with this, this is what I want you to do. This is the process I want you to take. So what if they say, you know what, we're not going to go through with it. We've lived here for 3.5 years, and it doesn't look like we're going to go through with it. All right, well, that's where you might have to actually tell them that you need to be able to try to close on this property before, so they may have to vacate. So you may actually ask people to vacate and then put someone in there who you can get qualified in 12 months. So if you have to put somebody out, if they say we don't want it anymore, obviously the point of putting them in there was to have them purchase that property. It was a lease purchase program. So they don't want to buy. You're going to give them notice, have them move out. You might have to give them back a little bit of their non-refundable option deposit, and then you still have some time to put somebody in there who is going to get qualified. Now that's a normal situation. And then, okay, so that's with your buyer. Now, then you call your seller and you know what your buyer's situation is. You know if they want more time or if they don't want the house at all or what their situation is. You're not going to share that with the seller. You're not going to say, okay, here's the situation with my buyer. What you're going to say is, you're going to say that my buyer, whatever the situation is, you're going to say my buyer needs a little bit more time. We need a little bit more time to get our financing in place. Okay, so now hopefully you remember the reason that they needed the short term. If all they needed the short term was they weren't sure about this and they never sold a house on seller financing and they weren't sure, so they didn't want to go all in for 20 or 30 years. And now you've had 3 years or 3.5 years or a year and a half of good payments, they might have calmed down. They might have said, you know what, this ain't a bad deal. I like getting these monthly payments every month. And if we got the whole check for $300,000 for the house, I don't know what we'd even do with it anyway. So let's keep going. Okay, so they might be very open to keeping the process going, especially if the only reason they gave a shorter term was just because they were unsure about your credibility, frankly, and if you were going to make the payments on time. So they weren't ready to go all in. So sometimes they're very cool with it. Give them some time, though. If they say no, you want to have enough time to put a new person in there or get the person who's in there qualified in time. So that's why I want you to do it 18 months out. So now, then you ask them, you say, my person needs more time. What's, obviously the way we normally set it up with our sellers, this is how I would approach it. The way we normally set it up with our sellers is we just make the payments on the mortgage till it's paid off. Okay, now if it's a free and clear house, you say, in that place, you say, we just set it up for a 30-year term. Now, I know you only wanted a 3-year term initially because blank, but obviously that situation has been resolved or whatever. So could we just go to our normal plan of a 30-year term at this point? Or that's a free and clear house. Or you say, could we just go to our normal plan, our regular plan, the way we usually do it, where we just pay off the mortgage. We just keep making the payments till the mortgage is paid off. So would that work okay? So ask them, first ask for the moon, ask for those stars, ask for everything, ask for a 30-year term or the whole rest of the mortgage. Now, if they say, no, I can't do that, you're going to say, well, what's the longest? Remember, it's always what's the most, what's the least, what's the longest, what's the shortest. So in this case, because if you tell them a number, they're going to just glom onto that number and you're never going to get a better number. If you say, could I get a couple more years? What's the most you're going to get? A couple more years. So I want you to ask for the moon, ask for the whole length of the term. Say, now that things have been going so smoothly and well, could we just go to our normal program where we just do 30 years or the whole rest of the mortgage? Okay, now if they say yes to that, great. But if they don't, then you say, what's the longest time that you could give us to help us get our person qualified? What's the most more time? And sometimes they will fumble around and you'll say, well, could we get 10 years? And then you start throwing out numbers. And that's pretty common that we'll do that. Well, could I get 10 years? They're probably not going to say yes to that. Well, how about 5 years? Could we do 5 years or 8 years? Or how about if we do 3 years? And you just kind of walk it back as slowly as possible. Now, if they're freaking out, they say, no, I don't even want to do any extension at all. Then you can't say, well, give me 15 more years. If they're, grousing about it, maybe the most you can get is a couple more years in that case. So you kind of read the room. You see what their reason is why they ever wanted the shortened term in the first place. Okay, so that was a great question, guys. I hope you wrote notes on that because that's our process for dealing with expiring seller financing. Okay, yeah, and I do want to do a pickleball thing. It's your birthday and you just signed a deal. Is that ever cool? Thank you, Wolf Couple, and thank you, God, or universe, or whatever you call. Yes, that is so great. Guys, let's celebrate. Let's give Isabel happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Isabel. Happy birthday to you. Yay. So Isabel's birthday, and she bought a house. 2 reasons to celebrate. 2 big reasons. That's awesome. Morning, Roger. Roger, I checked out was it your Instagram page or your Facebook or something? You're doing a lot of deals. Roger looks like he's a successful man in Vegas doing deals. Nolan, Kathy, do I need to file with county? This is a county by county thing. Sometimes there's certain things you need to do, paperwork. I know Mesa wants every rental property registered with the municipality. So there may be certain rules, but you know, really, you don't have to change anything. I mean, you do have to write new agreements, the paperwork. You will have to write uh, a new note and a mortgage. Okay, now did you create a note and a mortgage on the 3 years, or you know, do you have a note and a mortgage in place right now that has a balloon payment in it? Okay, because those are the two papers that you need to do financing. You need a note which tells all the terms, you know, what the payments are, how long the term is for, what the interest rate is, all that. And if there's a balloon payment, that would be in the note. Okay, so whenever you buy a property and take over the financing, always look at the note, because it might surprise you. There might be a balloon in there or something that will blow up the deal. Okay, so note, and then the mortgage ties it to the property, so that if you don't meet the rules of the note, if you don't make the payments, you can get foreclosed on because of the mortgage. So if you need to do this, Noel and Kathy, you guys need to get a new piece of paper. Whatever piece of paper that you signed and wrote where it was 3 years, basically you got to have a new piece of paper that says it's another 3 years or 10 years or whatever it is. So good luck on negotiating that. Obviously, the best deal you can do is always negotiate extensions. Sometimes it's an ideal situation to cash out, but that's not right now. Their interest rates are a little high. I don't want you to have to go get a new loan right now. So yes, if you can get extension on seller financing, now is the time to do it. So great questions this morning, guys. They're saving on capital gains tax. Guys, if they lived in the house, this may be why they wanted 3 years. Okay, this may be why they wanted 3 years, was because if you live in a house, if they were living in it before you, and if they sell the house if they basically have lived in the house for 2 years out of the last 5 years, okay, and this is a pretty good reason for them, but I'm going to give you an objection answer on this. If they lived in the house before you, they know that if they sell the house, any profit they make from what they bought it from is free to them, is tax free if they lived in the house 2 out of the last 5 years. So if they say, I got to cash out of this house within 3 years because it's the only way I get my tax break on living in the property. Okay, now that's true. Okay, but what's the other way to pay no taxes? What's the other way to pay no taxes when you sell your house? This is even better than well, then it goes to long-term capital gains. So what happens after after that 3 years is up, and after they can no longer claim that deduction for having lived in the house? Then they do pay capital gains. They pay long-term capital gains, and so that is a number around 15%, and it's better than 30%, but it's not as good as zero. Okay, so zero is a better number. So zero, how do you get zero? How do you cash out of a deal and pay zero taxes? You use our 1031 tripling plan. So I want, if this is the situation, Noel and Kathy, if the situation is that they want to sell for tax without a tax consequence, then you can tell them, hey, our partner who's done over 800 deals has this strategy that is a 1031 tripling plan, and this might be a better plan for you, and you'll pay no taxes the same way, and you can give us some more time. Okay, so if that's what it is, that's the only objection answer I can think of, because they don't want to pay taxes, and you can't say, I can snap my fingers, you don't pay taxes. No, they're going to pay taxes if they don't sell within that 5 year, living in it 2 years, and then 3 years not living in it. They've got to sell by the end of that 3 years, and that is a hard deadline, or else they don't get that huge tax break. So again, if that's their reasoning, it's a harder argument for you. But if you can tell them, hey, use this 1031 exchange plan, and it's basically the same deal, it's better. Okay, that is an objection answer to that. But that's a very interesting question there. You're playing pickleball right now. Awesome. Yay, Roger. Thank you. You made my day. Yay, Isabel. Awesome. Yes. Okay, so guys, Noel and Kathy, if you guys have more questions, send me an email. For non-action takers, how did you find the secret to life? That's a good question. I'm not sure how to answer that. Got to take action to find the secret of life. Jeff, how do we protect the tenant buyer in a sandwich lease option for owner, seller death, or incompetence, or whatever reason the owner cannot, will not close? Well, how you do this is what you do is you get the signed deed in advance. So when you tell the seller we're going to do this lease purchase program and we're going to lease the property from you until our person gets qualified, and then they're going to go to the bank and get a new loan and buy the house for our agreed upon option. So if you're doing just a straight up lease option, you don't own the house. But what you do is you have whoever's doing your closing, whatever title company or attorney is doing your closing, prepare the actual sale documents on the property. Okay, so prepare the sale documents for the option price. So if you agreed to pay $159.9, that's your option price. So prepare documents as if we're closing at the $159.9, and don't put a date on it. Okay, but the seller is gonna, you can put a date on there where you say by this date, and then the seller is gonna sign the docs. So you don't have to, if you have to chase the seller down later, it's hard. And the seller may decide, wait a minute, there's a lot of equity in that house now. I don't know if I want to sell it. Okay, so you don't want to ever run into that situation. So I want you to get the deed signed and held in escrow. It's called held in escrow. So hold the signed deed in escrow. What do the escrow instructions say? The escrow instructions say as soon as you qualify and come up with all the money to buy the property, then the transaction will go through. And it has nothing to do with the seller. The seller's already done what they need to do. You don't have to chase them down, and you don't have to convince them to sign. That's really an important point here. That's one reason I'm not crazy about sandwich lease purchases, because you're not in the total power position. But if you have to do it that way, and sometimes there's reasons to do it, if you're avoiding high closing costs, that's a good reason to do it. So sometimes you have reasons to do it, but that's how I want you to protect yourself. One other thing in this, I want you to record a lien. Okay, now nobody ever taught you that, but I'm teaching you that right now. When you do a sandwich lease purchase, record a lien to cloud the title and have it say whatever the deal is between you and the seller. Okay, whatever your back end profit coming out of that is. It doesn't have to show a lot, but right now, let's say you're selling the house, you bought it for, $262, and you're selling it for, you don't have a big spread, you're selling for $279. Okay, so you've got $17,000 of equity there that you're going to protect. So you're going to file a lien against the property for your equity stake in the property. And then later down the road, when the lease purchase tenant buyer gets a new mortgage, that mortgage company will have to pay you. They'll see that lien on there and they'll say, oh, okay, that's a lien that has to get paid off. But guess what? If you don't put that lien on there, the mortgage company will pull the title report and they'll only see the seller. They'll only see the seller's name. They'll only see the seller's mortgage. You ain't anywhere on that title if you're just doing a sandwich lease purchase. So they're not going to send you a dime. They're going to say, I don't see where your interest is in this property. And you're going to say, no, look at this great lease option agreement I have. And they'll say, okay, that's pretty, and then they'll give all the money to the seller. Okay, and you don't get your back end. So make sure you file a lien against the title as a second mortgage for your interest, to protect your interest at the end. Jeff, great question. Jeff, keep coming back and asking questions. Some of you guys are newer. I haven't seen you before, so that's great. Nolan, Kathy, I hope I addressed that question. I know it's a little long, guys. Yes, I'm in a snafu like that right now. Great info. So guys, remember, if you are in similar situations, I want you to network with each other. So if you know people's names, you can click on their, Facebook and just say hi and start to talk to each other. That's always great. You always want to be with support of other people. Seller actually pre-signs the deed and is put into escrow. Yes, that's exactly right, Jeff. That way you don't have to chase them down later, and you don't have to twist their arm later. And you don't have to always be worrying the whole time, what if they say no at the end? What if they don't sign at the end? You don't want to live like that. So get it signed in advance, hold it in escrow. As long as you meet the escrow instructions, which basically means pay them off, the house is yours and they can't back out. Okay, great day today. Great, like specific instructions. I know. So if you are newer to Brunch with Brian, I'm doing a lot of outreach right now. Keep coming back. It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and we also do an amazing Teaching Tuesday conference call every week as well. So this is all free to you. I'll take questions. I just want to help you guys. Our core system for success is our what to say and what to do system. If you want to know more about that, you can go check out our website. It's thewolfcouple.com. Yay. Okay, so great seeing you guys every morning. This has been stopping me. Oh, okay, great. So guys, that's great. So if anytime there's some kind of a question or hang up that's blocking you, make sure now talk to your title company or realtor or your real estate attorney, whoever is closing the transaction for you. Make sure they can get all the paperwork lined up prior to the transaction so you can move forward. Okay, so awesome day today. What was our initial? Oh yeah, focusing on the future. That's where we started. I focus on the present and the future. That will be our affirmation for today. I focus on the present and the future. Ready? 3 times on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I focus on the present and the future. I focus on the present and the future. I focus on the present and the future. Yes. Okay, that's how you succeed. Now, 3 deep breaths. Nice deep breath in. Always put a big smile on your face. Let it go. Okay, another deep breath in. Can't help but put a smile on your face because it feels so good. Let it go. Relax your shoulders and your neck. Okay, one more. Deep breath in. Oh, it feels good. And let it go. All right, everybody can have a great day today. We go long sometimes when we have all these great questions, but I always want to definitely be able to answer your questions and keep you guys on the cutting edge making money in real estate. So until I see you tomorrow at the same Wolf time, same Wolf channel,